Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmate. So, yung napunta po sa amin na report is all about developmentally appropriate indoor environment for infants and toddler. So, we are Group 2. So, I have four learning objectives here. So, first, distinguish between space for a group experience, privacy, storage, and display. Second, identify characteristic of a well-designed indoor learning environment. And third, learn ways to arrange an indoor learning environment to promote infant and toddler growth and development. And fourth, describe how to organize materials for independence, easy use, and learning. So let's proceed to arranging the indoor learning environment. The space and furnishing should come together to create an indoor learning environment that is tailored to meet the needs of developing infants and toddlers. They need to close supervision, positive guidance, and stimulating experiences during this period of rapid growth. So, sa paggawa po ng mga learning environment ng mga infants and toddler, kinakailangan dito ng mga caregiver ng space, tulad na lamang po ng space for greetings, departures, eating, and feeding, and sleeping, and especially to diapering and toileting. Kinakailangan din po dito ng mga changing tables, sinks, and storage for supplies po. So, ayan po yung mga pangangailangan nila upang matugunan po yung pangangailangan po ng mga bata pangangailangan po ng mga caregivers for developing infants and toddler po. So, next naman po natin, when designing spaces po for infants and toddler, it's also important to consider the logistic, aesthetic, organization, and the needs of all the children in the space. So, iisa-isahin po natin ito para po maintindihan po natin kung ano nga po ba yung logistic, organization, and etc. po. So, let's proceed to designing logistic. So, designing logistic, there are several things to keep in mind as you design or redesign your learning space. We will distinguish between spaces for the group experience, privacy for adults, and the storage and display, all of which are critical for a successful indoor learning space. So, sinasabi lang po dito na mahalaga po yung pag-design and redesign po ng learning environment ng mga infants and toddler. Kailangan may space for group experience, privacy, and the place for adults, and the storage and display po. Dahil ito po ay mahalaga po para po sa indoor learning po ng mga infants and toddler po. So let's proceed to places for group experience. Although infants and toddlers can learn primarily through exploration and interaction with caregivers, spending time in a groups is an excellent way to begin to build an understanding of learning communities. So, sabi nga po dito, 5 minutes or less daily group time can encourage infants and toddlers to share their ideas and notice the ideas of others. So, di ba po sa mga classroom, kapag kakapasok lang po ng mga bata, for example, start na ulit ng week nila, Monday, yung ibang teacher, tinatanong nila yung students nila kung ano nga po ba yung ginawa nila nung Saturday and Sunday. So, yung iba pong teacher, tinatanong nila, sino yung mga nagsimba? Sino yung mga pumunta ng Jollibee? Nag-family bonding? Through this po, nakakapag-share sila ng mga thoughts and ideas po. So, ito po yung tinatawag na group experience children can comfortably learn together po. Next naman po natin is places for privacy. Infants and toddlers are still developing the ability to regulate their emotion and calm themselves. It is important to provide a calming space for children to take a break from the group. You can help infants and toddlers to meet their needs and offering spaces that are limited to one or two children and created so that there is still visibility to ensure safety. So, mahalaga po itong places for privacy para po mabigyan po natin sila ng kamanatagan para po sa mga bata na magpahinga mula po sa group experience or sa activity po na ginawa nila. To rest and to relax, and then to refocus, gain self-control, or play alone, or play with a friend po. Hello po. So, ayun po, may papanood po ako sa inyo na video ngayon na nandun na po lahat ng tinatakal ko, yung tinuturo ko po ngayon sa inyo. About po dun sa designing spaces for learning po. So, let's play the video.
A developmentally appropriate space for infants and toddlers will offer a variety of opportunities to learn through play and exploration. Although children learn primarily through play, it can be helpful to plan areas where the group can come together to enjoy songs or stories. Circle time, for example, if done in a developmentally appropriate way that focuses on participation, is a responsive routine that can build confidence and community for infants and toddlers. Notice how these spaces provide an area for teachers and children to gather. Teachers arrange the space so children know where to focus, how to sit, and how to be successful.
On that farm, he had a, what is that? Cat.
While there should be ample space for these quickly developing infants and toddlers to explore, notice the soft pillows and the small spaces that promote privacy but offer visibility. Develop a space in your classroom where children can go to have some minutes to themselves or with one peer. A place that helps them calm themselves when needed. It is also important to plan several types of storage in infant and toddler classrooms. Teachers should carefully label materials and store them on open, labeled shelves, so infants and toddlers can access these materials on their own. Safety is your first priority. Tools like adult office supplies, cooking tools, or cleaning fluids should be stored securely when not in use. Young children need places to store their personal belongings. This helps send the message that a child belongs in your space. Every classroom needs a space to store portfolios or other documentation of learning and development. Finally, storing and displaying artwork sends powerful messages to children and families in your classroom. Take a look at how these teachers showcase learning and send the message, you belong here and are valued.
So, let's proceed to aesthetics. One of the best ways you can communicate to children that your classroom is a good place to be. It is through the small touch you can place throughout the room that express the personality of the group. So, ang aesthetic po, concern with the beauty or the appreciation of the beauty. So, kailangan ang learning environment mo or yung classroom mo is magandang lugar. Yung tipong maiinggan niya talaga ang mga bata na pumasok sa classroom mo. At yung tipong babalik at babalikan po yung classroom mo. So, next naman po natin is home-like. Children are more likely to feel they can be themselves and have a sense of belonging when their classroom environment feels like home. The ideal connected approach is not to simply fill classroom spaces. So, yung mga pwede po nating i-add sa sa learning environment po or sa classroom po natin is mga soft furnitures, non-toxic plants, natural or soft lighting, and then through pillows, and other decorative po. And then, family photos, neutral faint colors po. Yun po yung pwede po natin i-add sa classroom po natin para po hindi po mainip yung mga bata. And then, for addition lang po, nakakatulong din po ito para po hindi mainip yung mga bata po sa school. Dahil pag meron pong home-like, is para pong iniisip nila na nasa bahay lang po sila at nag-e-enjoy. So, next naman po natin is inviting engagement for vacation. So, offering items of beauty or wonder in the classroom invites infants and toddler exploration and engagement. You can do this by using provocation. So, sabi po dito, yung mga kamangha-mangha or yung napakagandang mga learning environment or the classroom ay anyaya po sa mga infants and toddler to make explore. And ang provocation raw po is a picture, experience, or item that provokes thoughts, interest, question, or creativity na pwede natin maging activity. At ang provocation daw po is nakakatulong para po mapaunlad po yung kanila pong mga isipan po. So, dito naman po sa Designing for All, sinasabi lang po dito na titingnan raw po natin yung mga i-design natin sa learning environment at kailangan po nating isaalang-alang or isipin po yung pangangailangan po ng lahat ng bata. Lalo na po para po sa mga batang may mga kapansanan po at mahalaga raw po na kausapin po natin yung mga pamilya po ng bata and mga trainer, coach, or administrator po para po malaman po natin kung ano pa po ba yung mga particular na pangangailangan nila. And then, kailangan po natin kunin yung mga opinion to make collaboration para po mas maganda pa po yung kalabasan po ng pagdedesisyon po natin. So, ayun po, may papanood po ulit ako sa inyo na video about naman po sa infants and toddler cultivating spaces for all learners. So, let's watch the video.
You make a lot of decisions about the design and experiences within your learning environment. Adaptations and considerations should be made so that all children can participate and feel like they belong in your environment. As this teacher shares her approach to managing her environment, think of how your space accommodates all children and families.
Each of my area has ways for children to engage with the materials around them, with their peers, or at least promoting them to try new things. On the kind of pre-children arriving, I always have my lessons planned and materials ready. I'm a logistics person, so I like to have everything ready to go and individual things ready. So if, we're going to try markers, he's having a hard time holding a marker today, I'm going to use bingo daubers. That's a little easier for them to engage with. So setting up, having a lessons planned, and then having a plan for the children who have a hard time accessing the materials, like even just using adaptive equipment, having that ready to go on the spot. And if it doesn't work, you can just be ready to be flexible. Being flexible is very important. Setting up each individual area to meet their needs. Even I've made a couple items to help children who have physical disabilities engage even a little bit using their hands, moving trucks and cars, and then they can knock down blocks. Having push-button toys for them to use. Having very reinforcing toys along with toys that are maybe a little more difficult, like stacking blocks, to give them something hard and then layer it in with something really fun, and just keep trying new things and making sure you have plans for all of them. The worst thing to me is seeing a child not engaged.
As a caregiver, being sensitive to the needs of all children in your classroom and adapting the environment to be a safe place to experience meaningful learning and supportive care will enhance infants and toddlers' opportunities for development and learning.
So, proceed naman po tayo dito sa organization. Dito daw po bilang tagapag-alaga or the caregivers, responsibilidad po natin na tiyakin daw po na madali pong ma-access yung materials na kakailanganin nila for the play or the activity. Kapag ino-organize po yung isang materials, dapat iniisip daw po natin yung tatlong mithiin, which is organize for independence, organize easy use, organize and learning. So, isa-isahin po natin ito. So, let's proceed to organize for independence. So, dito po sa Organize for Independence, as a children develop, gusto po natin sila na matuto kung paano po nila mahanap at magamit po yung isang materials na kakailanganin nila for the play or the activity in their own. So, kailangan hahayaan natin sila na mag-explore sa learning environment po natin or sa classroom at mag-ayos po ng mga bagay sa paraan po na gusto nila. So, dito naman po sa Organize for Easy Use, ang pag-organize po kasi ng isang bagay is mahalagang gawain po. Upang makita po agad natin kung ano po ba yung madaling gamitin upang makita po agad natin kung ano nga po ba yung mga dapat ayusin at kung paano nga po ba yung mga bagay na kinakailangan ng mga infants and toddler. Like for example po, yung mga bins, baskets, and container. So, etc. pa po. And dito naman po sa Organize for Learning, it is important to keep the space clean po, which is involved for adults and children, the steps you take to organize for independence and easy use will also help you to keep the space tidy. It will help children to know where materials belong, and they will learn to respect materials and the learning environments.
It's important to organize your space and materials for independence, easy use, and learning. Let's take a look at a few ways teachers organize infant and toddler classrooms to meet these three goals. Notice this child found what she needed and got started playing right away. Why did this happen? Because the materials are stored on low, open shelves that children can access themselves. Children can see what's available and make their own choices. Labeling containers and shelves not only helps children access toys and eventually clean up independently, it provides a print-rich environment that can help build children's early literacy skills. Also, when children can engage independently with materials, you have more time for interacting and expanding learning opportunities. Materials that are similar, or materials that are used together in certain activities, should be stored together. You should set up your learning environment such that children and adults can easily find the materials they need. Finally, materials should be organized so children want to interact with them. Your classroom materials should reflect the diverse backgrounds, knowledge, interests, and experiences of young children and their families in your classroom. Take a look at these centers and notice how they spark or build upon children's interests.
All right, Emma, let's see how long yours is. Put your ruler down. What color is this ruler? Blue. Blue. Azul? Azul.
Can you identify the ways this teacher incorporated multiple learning goals into the block building area?
This one.
That's my bear.
Green. Or do you want to build a castle?
The castle.
A castle. Okay, let's build a castle and then we can measure how tall it is. Get some blocks.
A well-designed learning space will keep children engaged in appropriate play, learning, and help prevent undesirable and unsafe behaviors.
Ayun po, kung napansin or nakita niyo po dun sa video, nandun po yung 3 types of organize, which is organize for independence, organize for easy use, and lastly, organize for learning po. So, learning and space arrangement allow you to make your room feel welcoming and like home, while incorporating your knowledge of developmentally appropriate practices. Remember that developmentally appropriate means that the environment you create for children should fit their current stage of development while still being flexible to allow you differences between children in skills, interests, and characteristics. While designing your indoor learning environment, always consider that following the 4 following strategy, which is make a safety priority. Second, make the learning space feel like home. Third, plan ahead. And fourth, organize material for independence, easy use, and learning. That's all. Thank you for today. Goodbye. Take care always. Bye.